What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of my Datsun series. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the interior, starting to get that figured out. A lot more of the body panels are coming off. This episode jumps around a little bit. I was playing around with the rain quite a bit, so the episode was filmed in a lot of sections over about a week. So hope you enjoy this one. Take a look. Welcome to day two. This door is almost completely done. I need to see if I can get that window regulator and the handle out. They're still giving me a little bit of trouble. I need to pull this mirror off as well. I've started a little bit on the interior just right here by the door. I've gotten the weather stripping all pulled off around the whole door, front end, this rear section. The kick plate has also been taken off. I've started cleaning everything up a little bit just with a wire brush, just getting all the dirt off of it, all the years and years of neglect. I'm going to start tackling the mirror and then hopefully can get these fenders off today. Started to get the inside cleaned out a little bit. I vacuumed up all the rust and dirt and everything that's come out from pulling this apart. I noticed when I got the seat out of here, it looks like this may have been hit by something from the underside, or maybe somebody jacked up the car from right here. I'm not exactly sure. But it looks like it may be bowed upwards a little bit. So we'll have to check from the bottom, see if we see anything that looks suspicious. There's a little bit of a rust hole right there. You can see the ground in the footwell, so this will have to be repaired. I'm sure the other side's going to be probably the same story, but surprisingly this is not rusted out. There's some good metal back here, so that'll be good. It's been a couple of days since you guys have seen this. I've started pulling off some of the interior pieces, trying to finish up the doors. Passenger door is done, as you can see over there. I've been working on that. The rear trunk area, the tail lights have been pulled out. This trim piece around here. Started getting a lot more of this stuff back here pulled out. As you can see, you got all the glass out. Everything came out fine, nothing broke, thank goodness. So I'm going to start tackling probably the interior today. 260Z is coming a long way. As you can see, I pulled off the front two fenders. Just got done hosing it down. There was quite a lot of dirt hidden underneath these. It just accumulated right up here. This is the car that keeps on giving, though. I found a snap-on socket adapter in there and a Matco screwdriver. So we're making some money back already. Started pulling the back side apart. You can see the gas tank hatch, the whole back end. All this paneling's gone. I'm working on the right side right now. Got the headliner and the dash to go. It's starting to get pretty stripped. Hatch is pulled off, the glass is pulled out. Just a few more days and it'll be disassembled. Alright, it's been a little bit since I've made a video. As you can see, more of the dash is torn out, interior's torn out. I got a lot of the wiring out of the back side. The inside's pretty much ready to sandblast. I just need to deal with these wires, maybe get that rest of the HVAC unit out. Right now I'm peeling out the sound deadening material using dry ice. Now, as you can see, here's the factory primer. this was all completely covered in sound deadening material. It's like a tar-like big sticker. So normally this is incredibly difficult to get off, especially after 45 years. It's adhered to these panels pretty well. The dry ice cools down the tar, the glue on the back end, and lets it peel up in a big chunk like this instead of scraping it off little tiny bits at a time. So I bought about $25 worth of dry ice. I think it was like 12 pounds or so, three little bags, and I've done about 2/3 of the vehicle. So now I'm on this passenger side with my last bag, just wrapping that up. So I'll show you how that peels up. You should be able to hear the small crackles from the dry ice cooling down that sound deadener. So I'll just let it sit here for a minute and then I'll peel it up. Alright, it's a little hard to do this one-handed, but as you can see, it snaps off a whole lot easier. So I'm just going to go ahead keep going. We'll cut you back on when it's done. So I think I found something a little bit interesting here in the Datsun. On all the floorboard sections, you can see they are just rusted out. Just water's collected and whatnot. It looks like in this side, after removing some of that sound deadening material, it looks like these are puncture holes from something. These don't look like they've rusted, especially around the edges where they're still intact, still strong sheet metal. So it looks like they hit something underneath the car somehow from the front, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's what you get when the vehicle's this old. It's had time to live several lives. Getting started on another day of work for the Datsun. I'm going to start by cleaning this out with a vacuum. The last video, you just saw me remove all the sound deadening material in here. So there's still quite a bit of little chunks left over everywhere. So I'm going to finish cleaning that all up, and we'll tackle getting the hood off and probably the exhaust. As you can see, I've got it up on ramps back here now. So I'm going to start finishing the exhaust and seeing if I can get the fuel tank sorted out. So that's the plan for today. Surprisingly dry as a bone. Barely any gas in there at all. Here's a bit of an update since the last time you saw me. I ended up getting rained out, so I had to pack up all the tools in a hurry and throw the tarp back over this thing. I pulled the hood off, as you can see here. In doing so, I found a bit of a rust hole right here that's quite large on both sides. Not surprising by any means, but just something else to deal with. There's quite a bit of Bondo in the hood too that it's gonna have to be taken care of. Working around back, I've got the top bolts out. There are 3 right here that go to these bumper supports. So both sides of that are out. The fuel tank is now out.
as you can see. So I just have to finish getting the exhaust out of here and get the last few bolts to get these bumper brackets out of here for the bumper delete. So we'll get going on that. Well, we got a ton of work done on the Datsun today. As you can see, these rear bumper bars both been pulled out, as well as the exhaust that was down here. So I finished up a lot of this stuff in the back here. I move forward and just chop the exhaust right up at the front right there. We'll get the rest of it when we deal with getting all the engine out. I started pulling apart this front end. As you can see, the horns are gone. Just a lot of the components that go along here. Bolts up on the firewall and the fender. Left and right side have been pulled, as well as that front radiator. Next up is probably going to be tackling the engine bay, honestly. The rest of the car is pretty well stripped apart. The only thing is the wiring in here. And maybe this central unit here. I'm not sure how much of that's going to be easy to get out though. Some of you might be wondering why I pulled the sound deadener out of here. First, obviously just all the rust. I wanted to peel it back, make sure, on these sections that this wasn't rusted out as well. The trunk area especially, all of this area. I wanted to make sure it was all good and clean. Strong sheet metal, see if we can reuse it or if I need to get all new floorboards. As it is right now, I'm hoping I can have a welder come in and cut these sections out that are bad and just patch in new metal without having to replace everything entirely. But yeah, it's coming along slowly but surely.